sahabiyat that you would recommend?
Question is from where?
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Question from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Are there any books from the Sahabiyat which you would recommend? There are many books that the ulama of Islam or the people who write books in the current time, they make books about some of the righteous Salaf, the women folk from the righteous Salaf. Me personally, I would tell you to get out of that mindset. Me personally, my humble opinion. When I said in the lecture about the Muslim woman, we did it in Nottingham University in Malaysia, I told the sisters at the college that I don't have no special advice for them. We have to get out of that mindset that is special advice just for sisters. Sisters can benefit from the advice to what? To brothers. إِنَّمَا النِّسَاءُ شَقَائِقُ الرِّجَالِ. Women are twins of men. Taqwallah, sabr, talab al-ilm, jihad, just like men. Are there things which are specific to women? No question. We as human beings, do we not need someone close to us, similar to us, that we can relate to? Yes, we do. But we have to get out of the mindset that I can't learn, I can't benefit unless it's a sister. And many sisters, they have that stigma. They think that. I won't listen, he can't relate unless it's a woman. Some things a man can't relate to, no doubt. We can't think about what it's like to bear a child. We can't, everyone understand this? We can't necessarily relate to that. What it feels like to go through this and to breastfeed, and we can't imagine that fully. But the general concept of sabr, the general concept of al-ihtisab, of being content and looking for the reward from Allah, we can advise you on that. As we mentioned in the khutbah, the pink mosque, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, and he was a man who never bore a child and who never lost a child from his own bearing. ما منكن امرأة تقدم ثلاثة من ولدها إلا كان لها حجابا من النار. أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Any woman who loses 3 children will be protected from the hellfire. And they said, وَثْنَتَيْنِ, what about 2? And he said, وَثْنَتَيْن. So the shahid, the point is that the Prophet ﷺ, he spoke to them about an emotional or traumatic scar, losing a child. And was he a woman? No. And he gave them the knowledge. So many women, oftentimes, they shoot themselves in the foot. They themselves are the cause to many problems, and I've said this before. You are the reason behind men treating you like this and acting like this and looking at you like that. You, not the man. Don't blame it on him. And which only a woman can say it. We have to read the story of a woman campaign. Okay, it's fine, but you can't learn from Abu Bakr's life as a woman. Those things aren't general. Abu Bakr's generosity, Abu Bakr's bravery, Abu Bakr's courage, Abu Bakr's this. Of course there is. So therefore, that's my advice, is to empty your cup and to change the general philosophy. Benefiting from the books about women, we didn't say it's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. That's jayyid. But don't get stuck into which it only has to what? Be like that. All right? You can learn from man, learn from woman. I can read a storybook. I can read a piece of history about a woman and learn from it. Just like I can read about it from a what? Man. From a man, vice versa. Ala kulli hal, inshallah ta'ala, read the books of hadith. Read the books of hadith. Read the Kutub al-Sitta, and you'll find how many women narrators there were. We mentioned some of them in the UK, such as Amra bint Abdurrahman. We read her tarjuma from Tahdhib al-Tahdhib. All right? Ala kulli hal, the Sahabiyat, and learning about them is a branch from learning about the Sahaba. And oftentimes people, they want to go right to the women without even learning who the men were, who without a question were more. Without a question were the ones who were around the Prophet ﷺ more than the women were. Everyone understand this? And did things that the women didn't do, and vice versa. Khadija was there from day one, but that's Khadija versus Abu Bakr, Umar, this, Ali, Bilal, Ammar, Fulan. The list goes on, and the men Sahaba whose names dwarf the names of the what? There's no question about that. And it's also a very important point with regards to, and it's another fact that we know, one thing we learned from 10,000 things. When I was asked a question, and I was just in Ottawa, they were talking about the hadith, لا يفلح قوم ولو أمرهم امرأة أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام, that are people who put a woman in charge will never be successful. And how this hadith is problematic and it's chauvinistic and so on and so forth. So some of the ulama of Islam, they say about this hadith, there are different meanings, there are different ways of interpreting it. And one of those ways is for argument's sake, that there's a clash between the hadith and the modern world. And that's because they say there are countries in which women run, and those countries are successful. What's meant by success, worldly success, religious success, etc. For argument's sake. Some of the ulama who explain this hadith, they say that if you read the books of history, the successful women leaders, The successful generals, the successful queens, which did exist, are of no comparison to the what? And that is a reality that you cannot what? You can't reject that. If I ask you right now, mention the name of this conqueror, of this great person, of this strategist, of this tactician, of this king, who's the first person you would think of? Fulan and Fulan and Fulan and Fulan. Tell me a woman. You mention a few. Maybe you say Cleopatra. Or you say the Queen of England. You will mention a few scattered examples, but it's not going to be nothing like what? No question about that. So for argument's sake, all right, for argument's sake. So the point is read about the Sahaba in general, read about the lives of the Sahaba Kiram in general, and bidin that you're going to come across those righteous women as well. Wallahu alam.